What is going on, guys? So I am back today because if you saw my video recently, I talked about my favorite movie musicals, and that is due to the fact that Wicked for Good is releasing this week. And I thought it would be a really cool idea to talk about musicals because it's one of my big passions. When I was very young, I loved musical theater, and it was weird for me because in high school, I was a basketball player and I also played golf, and so I was on sporting teams, but I was also in band, and so people really never knew how to perceive me because they're like, "What's this guy who listens to like alternative metal that also likes musical theater and plays basketball?" Like, I guess I was just an anomaly to people. But I love musical theater, and so I talked about my favorite movie musicals. But I thought today I would do something very different, and I would talk about my favorite musicals, my favorite Broadway musicals or off Broadway musicals that I have seen in my life. I've been able to go to New York City a few times and see a lot of musicals on Broadway, but I also live in Ohio, and I'm lucky enough in the three major cities in Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. We have a really great off Broadway scene, and they always get great performers to come and give their best renditions of these beloved properties. And so I thought today that I would go through my list of my favorite Broadway musicals, and as always, I'd love to hear you guys. Leave in the comments what your favorites are. There's probably a lot that I haven't seen, but I just thought it would be fun today to talk about those. So let's dive right in. So first up is Wicked. I have to mention it because the movie's coming out. I've seen Wicked on Broadway in New York City and off Broadway probably 5 or 6 times, and I think Wicked is a genuinely beautiful musical, and there are a multitude of reasons for that. I think the original Broadway cast is great. I think the movie cast is great, and obviously a lot of the different iterations throughout the years have been really phenomenal. But one of the things that I feel like has always stand the test of time is the beautiful message that Wicked is trying to convey through its performance. I really love, the concept of bringing this character to light who sheds so much light on racism and hatred towards a group of people solely because they're different than you. And the movie just does such an amazing job drawing audiences in and kind of telling this story in a way that I think it's relatable to anyone. And you don't just necessarily get it through the perspective of Elphaba, but you also get it through the animals that live in Oz and the fact that they were stripped of their voices and that they don't want them to be a part of functioning society anymore. There's so many great bits and pieces of information given to you to kind of pick apart and analyze when it comes to the societal themes. But aside from that, it's just a really beautiful musical that has amazing performances and musical numbers. I genuinely get these songs stuck in my head consistently. Every time I saw it on Broadway, I was just completely and totally blown away at the magnitude of the stage design and the production design and the way everything seamlessly flows together. It's completely and totally beloved for a reason. Next is Beetlejuice. I genuinely love everything about Beetlejuice. I love the way that they sort of adapt it to popular culture in modern times. The performances in Beetlejuice are absolutely amazing. I saw it for the first time. It's been like 2 or 3 years now, I think, since the first time I saw it, and I was just completely and totally immersed in the show. I think it's so witty and fun, and I think it encapsulates everything that makes Tim Burton's film so special while providing a new angle on it. Everybody that they picked for the cast and the performance that I watched did a really great job, and it's another instance of really amazing production design. It looks immaculate. You just feel completely and totally immersed into the world from the moment that the show begins. And I think those are, in my personal opinion, my favorite type of musicals to go witness are the ones that have that attention to detail and that much spectacle when it comes to how the world is conveyed on stage. And yeah, I love the Beetlejuice musical. It's amazing. Another one that I could watch every week and never get tired of. Up next is Evil Dead the musical. Now, this I think was on Broadway for a brief period of time. I saw it off Broadway in the Cleveland area when it came around, and I bought the poncho, got sprayed with the fake blood, and I genuinely love this as a huge fan of Evil Dead, one of my favorite horror franchises. They capture everything that makes the movie so special while providing a new fun angle to it. The music is absolutely absurd. The interaction with the audience is one of the things that I think makes it so much fun. It's one of the things that makes it so entertaining and engaging. And it's just something they seamlessly combine the three original movies in a way that I think works really well. And if you've never had an opportunity to see this, I'd really recommend it, because even for people that don't necessarily love musical theater, there's this edge to Evil Dead the musical that I think is accessible to virtually everyone. And it's one that anytime that it comes around, I always really look forward to seeing it. Up next is The Book of Mormon, the musical written by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, which I think is just such an incredible and powerful statement about religion, especially two guys that were born and raised into the Mormon faith that now spend a lot of their career making fun of it and kind of tearing it apart. The absurdity of it is really over the top. It really kind of pulls no punches. And every time you go see Book of Mormon, it's like you hear the gasps in the audience from the people that have never seen it before. But that's what I like so much about it. Trey and Matt are two guys that have never been afraid to kind of, take it there. And I think this type of a musical, it's important to have, because I think it's societal commentary in such an overblown way that anyone can understand what it's trying to tackle and what it's trying to pick apart. And I think the performances in this are really amazing. I mean, the version that I saw was really great. Obviously, Andrew Rannells is like what makes this product so special. But luckily, the performers that they get that do the Broadway and off Broadway productions now do a really phenomenal job. It's genuinely one of the funniest things that I've ever watched. I think about it all the time, and I think the subject matter that it's able to tackle, not just when it comes to struggling with your faith, but also like sexual identity, friendship. There's all these different really remarkable themes that get explored throughout it. It's a soundtrack I listen to pretty much on the regular. Up next is The Color Purple. This is genuinely one of my favorite musicals that I've ever seen, and I was really disappointed in the film adaptation that came out not that long ago, because I feel like it completely and totally missed the point of what makes The Color Purple so incredibly special. I got to see a local production of this in Columbus, near where I live, and I was completely and utterly blown away at just the level of performance from these actors, and also like production design, the costume design. Everything about it is really amazing, and I feel like the film tackles so much incredible subject matter that is incredibly poignant and relevant and way ahead of its time. When The Color Purple was, initially released, just really ahead of its time, the things that it's talking about, not just in, the struggles of Black Americans and what they've been through, but also like at its look at sexual identity. There's a lot of implications to the characters in this movie and a queer relationship established, which is one of the things that I did not like about the new movie, because they just completely and totally gloss over that. And there's also this really interesting sort of commentary on religion, and the considering the time period and the uh and culture's sort of obsession with religion and identity, or religious identity, I suppose is the right way to say it. The musical, The Color Purple, does a really amazing job at kind of asking questions about God and your complete and utter belief in this thing when you're experiencing tragedy. And I think that it's such an amazing musical. Some of the most incredible songs ever written for musical exist in The Color Purple. The Cynthia Erivo adaptation with Jennifer Hudson is like truly remarkable. I listen to that soundtrack quite a bit, but it's a great performance. If you get an opportunity to see it near you at any point, I would highly recommend it, because it is one of the greatest musicals ever made. Up next is Hamilton. Hamilton, someone that I love very much, got me addicted to Hamilton, because of her love and passion for it. And I didn't really know much about it when it was first released, and didn't, I had no real grasp of what it was about. And I went and saw it for the first time, and it moved me to tears multiple times as I was watching it. And I was just, it really was a testament to me of what art is, because Lin-Manuel Miranda created this story, obviously about a real historical set of events, but completely flipped the script on it and cast minorities and people of color in these roles, and also made all the music hip hop and very rap forward, which I think is so cool when you can take this medium that has existed for so long, that so many people understand to exist as this one singular thing, and kind of turn it on its head and do something completely new and exciting and fresh and fun with it. And I think the story is truly compelling. It's like a 3 hour long musical, and there is not a moment while you're watching it that is dull or bland or that keeps you disengaged with it. And it's one of those things where you just think about this subject matter and what kind of story that it's trying to tell, and how Lin-Manuel Miranda kind of shifting these little things about it makes it all the more powerful. And there's a lot of really great thematic through lines in this that I just sit with a lot. I feel like Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story to close out this musical is like one of the most brilliant songs ever written. But I could go through the whole catalog of music in Hamilton and just talk about how brilliant it all is. I love it very much. It's a really great musical. One of the most fun experiences that I've had going to a theater and seeing a musical, and it's one that I think about a lot. And then, no surprise to anyone after my last video, my favorite musical of all time is Les Miserables, and it's also my favorite Broadway musical. I see this every time it comes to town because it never fails to make me cry. And I also think it gives me hope, which is something that I feel like we need a lot more of nowadays. Les Mis is a story that I feel like will never die because it is about people sick and tired of being oppressed and standing up against their oppressors. And I think that is one of the most important things that we can possibly have in our current society, because there are so many people out there who are a part of marginalized groups who are being beat up on and treated poorly solely for existing. And one of the things that our society really lacks is empathy and compassion towards other human beings, caring about your fellow human, realizing that when they don't get the same opportunity as you and they don't get the same, abilities in life that you get, that it's your responsibility to use your voice and stand up for those people. Because I don't have a very big platform on YouTube. I've got almost 4,000 subscribers. Not as much as a lot of film critics out there do, but I try to use my voice in the best ways that I can. And I think speaking out for those groups and saying positive things and building them up and using your voice for change is important. And that's really what Les Mis is to me. It has some of the greatest music in any musical, period. I feel like I listen to this soundtrack probably once a week because I just love it so much. It's heartbreaking. It's very thoughtful. And I feel like every time it ends, I just am always thinking about exactly what it's discussing. And it plays through my brain over and over again. And I genuinely love Les Mis. It's beautiful. If you've never seen it before, you're really missing out. Go watch the movie if you can't see the Broadway adaptation. But if it comes near you, go check it out. Production design wise, some of my favorite production in any musical. It's just really phenomenal. So, what are your favorite Broadway musicals? Let me know in the comments. This is obviously just a small list of some of my favorites. I've seen a ton in my life, but these are the ones that I keep coming back to that are the most important to me. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.